personal story time. What do we do? Mario and my kid. All right, tell me that you're gonna relate to this story when I'm done saying it.
Okay.
So, kids are sponges, right?
Yeah.
And I've taught my kids right place, right time on things. And until something happens, you don't realize exactly what they're absorbing. And it might come as a surprise to many people that I've had a bit of a temper with video games.
What?
I know. I know. uh, I know we it surprises you that I could have a temper with video games. And I do not remember which version of Mario I was playing. I think it was on it's either the Wii or the Wii U. And it just was so frustrating me. And it was all I could do not to throw the controller, right? Which they had the straps, so there was that. I couldn't really throw the controller because I'm always safety first.
As a kid, throwing the controller can feel rather cathartic. As an adult, you look at it and you're like, that is very expensive. No, no.
It can
Just
still
like
feel cathartic. It just hurts your bank account later.
just like people who drop microphones. Don't do that. Those are not cheap.
Oh no, I hate that. Yeah. It damages more than just a microphone, but that's neither here nor there. So, I said some choice four letter words. I called Mario
Ooh,
some choice four letter words, and both
jerk.
Crosby and Oakland were there. I think they were 5 and 6, somewhere in that age range. And we'd already talked about language and this and that and the other, and I don't think they really understood the context that was in the moment. Okay. And I just, got mad. Stop playing the video game. Because I do try to model if you get mad at the game, walk away from it. And the next day I'm at work and I'm at a desk and my wife calls and I get do you know what your son did? Now, let me tell you, we are not that couple. In fact, I going into the relationship, I grew up on TV. And so I was very much, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. All the stuff that's on TV, we're not doing these things. And that was one of them. Your son, your daughter, that blame game crap. But she goes, you know what your son did? And I was like, what? And she goes on to relay that it was one of the days that she was gone up to her mom's house and was hanging out with her mom before mom went to work and was going to stay with her brother. And he, of course, had the same game system and the same games and everything else. And Oka's sitting there playing. His little 5-6-year-old self is playing Mario. Mario dies. He pretty much word for word reenacts this scene from Hamilton that I did the day before of what he called Mario and how he hung his head and how he put the controller down, kind of forced it on the couch, but not throwing it, and walked away. And I'm sorry, I had tears. I was laughing so hard because it was a word that no kid before, well, nobody really should use, but definitely no kid should use. But hearing him say, hearing that it's imagining it, and it's cracking me up. I try to, and Erin's trying not to laugh. I'm laughing so hard to make her laugh. She's like, it's not funny. It's like, okay, your mom and your brother can. Well, I said a word about things you do with the straw, and I was like, they can do straw stuff, and because I don't care about them, and they know who I am. Secondly, babe, I understand what you're trying to say, and I will talk to him, and I will make sure not to do that behavior. But come on, that was funny. That was hilarious. And I mean, I was laughing so hard, my desk mates are like, what is going on? And I had to relay that story to him too. So very much, I did so many other things. I'd said so many other words. I had been angry and yelling at people. I've done so many other things that they did not model. But in less than 24 hours, he tried to reenact Mario and my expletives, and he did it masterfully, apparently. So that was very interesting experience. So have you, at least as a dad, can you tell me you can relate to that, even if you don't have a similar story?
I can do one better.
Okay.
I can play an instance here live.
Oh no. Okay.
So here we go. this comes from a angry while driving, and this is
Oh,
something
I
that
remember this one. Yeah.
Jebediah picked up.
Go, you moron!
So obviously that's relatively tame, but like you said, kids are just gonna repeat whatever you say. So you've
But not
got to be
always. See, that's the
careful.
thing. It's not always true that way. Because I'd said so many other things that he didn't repeat.
I think it's good to just assume that they will. But yeah, no. And there's definitely times when you're like, can't you repeat some of the good stuff? You know, I asked you to do the dishes, you didn't remember, or stuff like that. But yeah, they always remember the things that you don't want them to remember.
I know my wife was embarrassed, but I reminded her who she was. I'm like, okay, because at this point you're talking about we probably were married at least 10 years rather, because we waited 5 years before we even had Oakland, and he was old enough to talk and play video games. So 5, 6. So you're talking about we've been married. Your family knows who I am. Your family knows who you are, and they know you talk like that too. So it's not. Let's not make that a big deal. Let's make sure they call my kid by the right name. That's a big deal. But yeah, it has not happened since, but it cracked me up, man. So what about something that somebody tried to get mad about? Maybe you don't have this yet because your oldest is 12, I think. But maybe Malachi did say something, and somebody's like, oh, I can't believe you said that, and you had the face you have now, like, I don't care. Do you have one of those stories?
I mean, I told it on the show a few weeks back, but there was an instance where my oldest hurt my youngest, and I was in a different room, but I heard the crying, and I knew what type of crying it was, and I was in a foul mood anyway, and I walked in there, and I said, "What the hell did you do?"
Joseph!
He was like, "What did you say?" I'm like, "You heard me." And so the rest of the day, he went around to every single adult. Do you know what Dad said?
He said.
So yeah,
but that's funny.
It jarred him because it's not what he's used to hearing. And like in my own life, when my dad started swearing, you knew you were in trouble. It's not like he hadn't already asked us, 5 different times to take care of something, to do our chores. But when he started swearing, you're like, ooh, I better get in line.
Well, same kind of with education. Whenever I'm lecturing for mainly EMT class, when I'm lecturing EMTs, I don't use colorful language. I mean, I definitely paint colorful pictures, but I don't use 4-letter words, except I can only think of like twice in it's a 40 chapter lecture, and each some chapters are multiple lectures. So it's a lot of recording. So it's very, very small percentile of the time that I was like, it's appropriate to use 4-letter word. This will get you effed up if you do this type of deal. So and then it brings that gravitas home, right? You very rarely use it. And that was the thing I learned in comedy, was it's easy to swear. It's funnier and more creative to come up with other ways to say the same thing, which I still am working on.
Well, and in comedy, dropping a swear at the right time can be hilarious. Like I think of The Ringer, when they drop, when the F did we get ice cream?
Which was
that
is ad-lib.
It was an ad-lib, and that is still one of my favorite F-bombs dropped in a PG-13 movie.
Because you get 2, and it just was the right moment.
Back then you got 1.
Back then you got 1. Okay, it was the right moment. That's a great one. I saw TikTok this morning. A girl had to be 3 years old, whatever, and mom's like, "What? Okay, say that again. What'd you say?" And she goes, "I'm tired. I want to take an effing nap." But she said the whole word, right? Just as innocent it could be. And mom's laughing, like, "Don't say it. That's a bad word." And daughter's like, dead serious. "No, it's not. It's not a bad word." She said, "Yeah, it is." Like, "No, that isn't a bad." Dad's laughing too, like, "No, it's a bad word." He's like, "I don't know. I just want to take an effing nap." It just walked away, But she didn't. So they had used it, and never said, "Hey, don't say this." That's other. You got to teach your kids what are bad words, and I did not
because
teach
they're
her the word
gonna
I
hear
used.
them. They are gonna hear them, and we've had this conversation with our kids a bunch. When we're watching a movie, we're like, this movie is gonna say words that we don't say. These are words that we do not use,
and then it was all in Spanish.
and we've gone even a step further with them and said, if it's something you don't understand, don't use it until you know what it means. And even then,
that's a good one.
There's different times where you don't want to use it anyway. But if you don't know what it means, don't use it.